Yo people, what's going on? AdamMcKola here outside Old Trafford. What the fuck just went down? The theatre of dreams, or is it the theatre of nightmares? Because that was something straight out of a nightmare. I don't know where to start with that one. It was abysmal from start to finish. Alexander Isak gets Newcastle's first goal. Harry Maguire, what are you doing? What's that defence? You're right there with him. We've seen it so many times. Was the Nottingham Forest first goal, Xerxes right next to him. We'll get onto Xerxes in a bit. Xerxes right next to him, doesn't do anything. Same again today. Harry Maguire's there. Get your fucking big head on it. How are you allowing him so much space? Alexander Isak's a very good player, but you know what? He didn't have to be there. It was so basic. The second goal, Joe Linton. Come on, brother. Lisandro Martinez, what are you doing? Again, I know you're not the tallest, but you got to be tighter, you got to be stronger, you got to be more physical. The defending from Manchester United, and not just those two players there that I've mentioned, was absolutely abysmal today. Our best two players, Amad Diallo and Mazraoui, and you know what? They didn't even have good games by their standards. They didn't have good games at all. They were pretty poor, if anything, if it's anything to report by. But they were still our best players. From back to front, Manchester United were just poor today. And sorry if I mixed the goals up, I don't know which one it was, but I felt like Andre Onana could have done better as well. But my mind was just taken by the poor defending. What the fuck are you guys doing? And then we move on to the midfield. I said after the Ipswich game when we saw Eriksen and Casemiro together in midfield, I don't ever want to see this again. And look, I know it's because we got Bruno Fernandes out suspended, Ugarte out suspended. You can talk about Bruno Fernandes getting a silly suspension. It don't make sense. Why the hell are you playing like that in the last game? But Christian Eriksen is finished. Casemiro is finished. Why are we playing them together? By this point, surely it's better to just play some young players. Surely it's better to play some young players. Joshua Xerxes, who got subbed in the first half, and let's be real here, it could have been any of those players subbed in the first half. Any of them. Could have been any of them. And Joshua Xerxes got booed. And you know what? I don't like it. That's not... I've never heard anything like that inside Old Trafford before. It stinks, to be honest. Look, Joshua Xerxes' performance stank. It was horrendous. But he wasn't the only one. And also, I feel... Look, if you want to boo the team, boo the team. I wouldn't boo the team personally. That's not me. I never boo our own players. I never boo the team. You can say that soft if you want. I'll voice my displeasure at the performance. I'll criticise the performance. But I'm not going to boo them. Because at the end of the day, we need these players. We need them to put a performance in. And I think booing them is just... You're just going to destroy them. And I felt like we could have done that to Joshua Xerxes today. If there was any hope of him being a good Manchester United player, it's probably gone today. And look, his performance wasn't good. If he leaves in January, fair enough. I understand it. He hasn't been good enough for Manchester United. But singling out one player, booing one player, when you got fucking Sir Jim Glazer, or whatever the fuck his name is, Jim Ratcliffe, doing an absolute madness with some of the decisions he's doing. When you got all these players absolutely stinking the gaff out, you got the Glazers ear as well, and you want to get onto Joshua Xerxes. Look, who was abysmal, but he's been here for 2 minutes. He's not the root cause of Manchester United's problems. We've seen the culture of this club over the last couple of years. We've seen the decisions made by the board, whether it was Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe or whether it was the Glazers and Ed Woodward. We've seen the decisions. Those decisions have led us here. Now, I know in the summer I wanted Erik ten Hag to stay. But if you're the board and you knew you were going to sack him and you give him 200 million to spend, which further impacts our PSR, FFP, all that kind of nonsense, what the hell are you doing? It's bad decision after bad decision. And we're booing Joshua Xerxes. I don't know, man. It just felt wrong. And I don't know if it was the majority of the crowd. It felt like the majority near me. It was just disappointing. A lot of people around me as well that I see there every week at Old Trafford were like, that's not right. They weren't the ones booing. But there was a lot of boos. And I understand the frustrations. But giving it to one man, I felt so sorry for him because as bad as he was and as much as he deserved to be substituted, he didn't deserve that. There's so many more people at Old Trafford, in the board of directors, wherever you want to look, that deserve that more than Joshua Xerxes. And again, If you want to boo the team, I get it. It's a collective. It's all that. But the individual, I don't know. I don't want to get caught up in that too much. But that really, really disappointed me today. As much as that performance was one of the worst performances I've seen at Old Trafford. I'm 35 years old now. I've been coming to Old Trafford for an awfully long time, probably close to 30 years. That's one of the worst performances I have ever seen. Just abysmal. And like I said, after that Ipswich game, I said I never want to see Casemiro and Eriksen again together. And that point stands now. Again, it's not just their fault today. We're abysmal all across the park. But if you can't get control of the midfield, you're never going to get control of a game. But also what was said after that Ipswich game by the manager, and after the Arsenal game by the manager, was that we're going to have to get used to this pain. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. And that's exactly what we saw here today. Because this board of wasting money on players for different managers, fair enough. Okay, we didn't know Amorim was going to come in. But you probably knew Ten Hag wasn't your guy in the summer. You've delayed the decision. You've allowed it to get here. You bought players for him. Now we've got a squad that isn't made for the tactics that the manager wants to play. And I don't want to see this manager change. I wouldn't even mind if he gave loads of young players minutes today, or in the future Premier League games or whatever. The Europa League's the only chance we've got of getting into the Champions League. The Europa League's the only chance that we've got of getting into Europe. I don't even know where we are in the league right now. It just keeps getting from bad to worse. And you know what, Newcastle, they've got a fantastic team. You know, you look at their team today, Isak's better. I'm going to get onto the rest of the players as well, but Isak's better than anything that we've got. You know, Anthony Gordon was absolutely fantastic. Like, the players that you can say that get into their team based on form out of our team, probably what, Amad Diallo, Mazraoui, maybe Ugarte. I don't know. Ugarte obviously wasn't available for us today. But it's just shocking from Manchester United yet again. And again, we know it's a work in progress. We know we kind of have to give this manager time. Not kind of have to. We have to give this manager time. We have to give this manager his own players. We have to give this manager, you know, time on the training pitch. But we need to get results as well. And look, any hopes we've got of getting into the European League, in the league, is gone. So I don't mind just experimenting for the rest of the league campaign. But we need to see more than that. That was shocking today. And the substitution. Look, I know Marcus Rashford's been left out of the squad because of disciplinary, like, not disciplinary, but kind of like, you know, he opened his mouth, he did that interview, maybe he was bad advised. The manager can't play a player that is openly saying that, you know, his future and his future challenges lie elsewhere. But we brought fucking Anthony on. Who else did we, like, Garnacho, who's been poor for a long time. I half wanted to see Rashford given, and I know Rashford hasn't been good recently, but I half wanted to see him given a chance. He was back in the squad today. That was shocking, man. Højlund throwing his arms around when he don't get the ball. Abysmal when he's trying to get it. He's too busy fighting defenders, and I know he's kind of improved in, you know, holding the ball up, winning free kicks, but you've got to do a lot more than that. You're not playing for Stoke. You're playing for Manchester United. And it's a poor performance everywhere. Whoever missed out, like I said, Amad and Mazraoui were our best players, but they were poor. Maguire, poor. How he stayed on the pitch, I don't know. We saw Lisandro Martinez, and again, poor. He's been poor all season. We saw Lisandro Martinez, and who else started at the back? I don't even know. It was just shocking. Mazraoui, poor today. Dalot, poor today. Like I said, Casemiro and Eriksen, I never want to see them together in the midfield again, and maybe not even individually in the midfield again. The performance was just shocking. Holding nothing up top. Xerxes, poor. Then we replaced him, poor. The only players I want to see in a United shirt, really, or deserve to be here, Amad Diallo. Fucking hell, it's a short list. Kobbie Mainoo, Mamba Ugarte. Who else? Am I missing anyone? Because even Bruno Fernandes has stacked the place out recently. He was someone that I'd go, he's a dead cert. And look, I'm not saying I want Garnacho to leave the club. I think he's an incredible talent. But something's been going on there recently. Whether it's leaking the team, whether it's, I don't know, your attitudes change. Everyone's attitude needs to fix up at this club. If you want to be here, show it. Show it. Can't keep blaming managers. And yes, some of these players aren't good enough to play the manager's system, and we know that. But the rest of you, buck up your fucking ideas, man. What is this? What is this? You got an opportunity to play for the biggest club in the world. Got an opportunity to play for Manchester United, and you're fucking running around like that. And again with Marcus Rashford, I know he's come out recently and said he wants to leave. I think some of the stories we're seeing coming out about him, some of the things we hear coming out about him, maybe he feels like he's been scapegoated over the years, and maybe he's, you know, he feels like he's been harshly treated. But what we're seeing now are acts of self-sabotage. Do you guys want to play for Manchester United or not? Because if you do, this can't run. Abysmal. The manager's got such a big job on his hands, and I feel sorry for him. I'm glad the crowd gave him support today, even though I was proper disappointed with some of the treatment Xerxes got. And again, I know I'm kind of contradicting. Xerxes was poor. He deserved to get substituted when he got substituted. Many players could have got substituted then. Boo the team, maybe. I wouldn't personally. But the individual, I don't know, man. He's still a Manchester United player, you know what I mean? And the problem is, most of these are still Manchester United players. Anyway, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. I absolutely stank today. I'm AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.